I'm gonna read you a message exchange that I had between myself and a friend of mine who I actually used to play League of Legends with back in the day. Now, the context behind this is that I've seen his Discord statuses have been quite depressing, saying things like my life sucks. So I thought I'd reach out to him. Hey man, I see your Discord statuses. No, we haven't talked for a while, but is there something I could possibly do to help? Even if it's just talking, I would love to listen and offer some friendly advice. Before I read the response, I know for a lot of people, especially for people who haven't been in a similar situation as this guy has been in, your knee-jerk reactions might be to just say, just go outside, just make some friends, get a job. But as someone who was in a very similar situation to this a few years ago, that's not what helped me. When I was in that situation, I knew those things. I knew it was bad to play video games for 12 hours a day. I knew that it was ideal for me to go outside and make friends. I was just incapable. Hey, I appreciate the concern. The Discord statuses are more or less just me not enjoying life more than the usual dislike right now. And for some reason, I'm putting it out there. If you want to listen, that'd be nice. Haven't had somewhere where I could vent freely in a long time. As for advice, I don't think I am in a state where currently I can accept them enough to make a meaningful change. Here goes. The past many years now, I've been incredibly depressed. Genuinely so. I can't get up to do things, brush my teeth, care for myself, even with a place of my own, a nice setup, and good friends. I've come to, no matter what I do, live in my own self-deprecating box, bubble, or blank white room, with only my own head to lean on. Until now, I've had an okay outlook on life. Even if things aren't the best they are now, things can always look up in the future, even if I can't see the road now. However, that energy has carried me this far and is now gone. I don't want to kill myself or anything that drastic, but if I had the chance of never having existed in the first place, I think I'd take it without even thinking once. During the years passing, I haven't learned anything, done anything, bounced around on meds that are supposed to help, but just indirectly make things worse in each their own unique way. No new aspirations, no new outlook on myself, nothing in terms of plans for the future. I still exist within my own white room, box, bubble, and waste away. Each day coming and going faster or slower than the last. I find that within myself, I don't bring anything to any table. I am a blank voice voicing the most obvious things to the few people that can't see them themselves. That's all I do besides the mediocre at best company I provide whilst hanging out with people. And also, that hanging out is me waiting 14 hours a day by my PC for people to come online, talk for a little, then head back to their lives which are packed of growth and adventure, each in their own right. It's impossible for me to imagine anyone seeing me besides anything but this as well. Nothing I said ever even mattered. Nothing I ever say will. Parts of me are fine even just attempting being friends with people. If it's just me there to comfort whilst they go through rough times, then to be thrown away to decide when their second wind comes. Deep inside, I know I'll never be human, not a real one. I do not have aspirations, I do not have emotions, I do not have the cognitive ability to take care and function like a normal human can. Even with their flaws and mistakes made, killing myself seems like something that would be on my mind, but it never is. Wouldn't know how to, too scared to do it. It's not a solution, would make people sad, wouldn't even end my suffering if I keep it going in the afterlife. I do not necessarily believe in spiritual stuff, but honestly everything goes when it comes to a list of reasons to not kill yourself. Sorry if this has been repetitive or mumbling, things not making sense. Hopefully putting it out there will ease it somewhat. Also, I can joke to myself. Reminder, I do not think advice, no matter how friendly or helpful, will be helpful. I cannot act on things no matter how much I wish. Reading this really made me emotional because this is quite close to a description which I would ascribe myself a few years ago. I mulled it over for a while before I responded. As someone who was in a very similar position just 2 or 3 years ago, it breaks my heart to think that I would remain stuck in that situation knowing what I know now and the limitless potential I have and how much I enjoy my life and being alive. I tried my best with my response and I addressed only one thing because having read that, you probably make the same assumptions that I do in the sense that he's probably got a lot going on in his life and a lot of things which aren't optimal. You know, maybe he spends too much time at his PC, maybe he plays video games, maybe he doesn't work out, but when I was in that situation, none of that shit mattered. Endless people told me that doing this and that and stopping doing this would make my life better. But the core problem that I see with this is the beliefs, which is what I chose to address with my response. Because you can be told many different things, but if you don't believe that you can improve and that your life can get better, it doesn't matter. You say you don't believe advice will help, but here goes anyway. I'll be focusing on addressing one core thing which is possibly the catalyst of many of your issues, and that's your beliefs. And then I quote 5 limiting beliefs which I picked out from his message. From just one interaction with you, I picked up on all of those beliefs, and they have something in common with one another. They limit your potential, they trap you in a rigid way of thinking, and remove the reward and the fun out of improving your circumstances. For example, if I believe I'm not genetically gifted enough to get a six-pack no matter how hard I try, I simply will not show up to do those ab workouts. And I actually create a self-fulfilling prophecy of never getting my six-pack, making my initial limiting belief true. If you believe you cannot open yourself up to some friendly advice, that will remain true. If you believe that you will never feel human and feel emotions, that will remain true. If you believe you do not bring anything to the table in your relations, that will remain true. Your beliefs and your thought patterns have a direct correlation with your actions and what you do on a day-to-day. You may find that the reason you feel like you are in Groundhog Day is because you do not have the empowering beliefs that you can and will turn your circumstances around, and you'll become a man of great value to his friends, and you'll feel the absolute highs and lows of human emotionality, and that you can live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Step 0 is your beliefs, and the words you say to yourself mentally and outright hold all of the power. I send you a hug through the internet as one man to another who's managed to escape his demons. You don't have to tirelessly fight to stay alive. You can and will live a life which sets your heart ablaze. The reason why I'm telling you about this message exchange is because I don't think a lot of people understand that this is a state that a lot of young men find themselves in. And it hits especially hard because I used to hang out with this guy. I used to play League of Legends with him. He was my duo. And to see the transformation I've made over the last 2 or 3 years and the direct comparison that this guy's situation offers to me, this could have been where I'm at now. Perhaps worse. Since this message exchange, I've been almost tormenting myself thinking like, how can I help this guy? What worked for me? And the answer that I come to is the very slow but steady instilling of positive beliefs. And it is so slow, and you're not going to get everything right like that. A lot of people's knee-jerk reaction would be, just go outside, go to the gym. It's not as simple as that when you're in this situation. And this situation is far more common than a lot of people would think. This situation is the result of perhaps being slightly introverted in school and getting bullied, and then turning to something like video games as a form of escapism, and then failing to level up any sort of areas in your life because you're busy escaping your reality. And as you age and time goes on, you continue decaying, and your life gets worse and worse and worse on a daily basis until you find yourself in an absolute pit of despair, just fighting to even stay alive. It can happen so easily. The most upsetting part for me, simply just an encouraging word from a man that you look up to, who has what you want and has a good head on his shoulders, can be enough to turn your life around if you're open to it. I'll give Hamza as an example. My friend Hamza, who I also worked with at the time, which is how I got to know him, but just having a figure to look up to and being coachable, being open to new ideas. When Hamza gave me a checklist of things to do and told me if I did this for 3 months, I would be cured of my depression, my anxiety, and I'd get off my antidepressants, I was insulted because I had suffered with these ailments for many years of my life up to this point, and they had completely destroyed my potential as a man. I thought my life was over. I thought I was going to have to learn to live with it, much like how this young man finds himself now. Even though it insulted me, I still did it because I had nothing to lose. And it didn't take 3 months. It took 1 month to see significant change in my life. But at the core of that change was a slight glimmer of hope that was instilled in me by a man that I looked up to. I'm not sure if what I said to this guy got through to him at all. I had a few more messages afterwards, and it hurts my heart to say that I might not know how to help this young man. I might not know how to reach him with my empowering message, even though I've tried very hard. But Lord willing, I hope I can reach some of you who are in a similar situation to this and the situation I was in. And I hope that I can help you. Lord willing.